Radhashtami or Gaur Purnima, Nityanand Trayadashi. These festivals were not so known. So all glories to Srila Prabhupada who actually taught us how to celebrate these festivals and how to pray for the mercy of all these personalities, Srimati Radharani and Lord Balaram, Lord Gauranga, Lord Nityananda on us. So today is the Adhivas day, and in the temple where we have deities of Radha Krishna, there is a special festival which is celebrated. In our temple also it is going on right now. So there are 25 different kind of items which are very auspicious, which are offered as a means of reception to Radha and Krishna. So like the mirror is there, gold is there, silver is there, and clay is there, and grains are there, and then lamp is there, chamar is there. Like that, 25 different items are there which are offered to the Lord one by one. And in this way, the Lord is received. And then that marks the beginning of the festival. And then tomorrow morning onwards, special. Now, today night also, there will be a new dress for the Lord, new dress and garland, jewelry, everything. And then in the morning, the special Mangalarti. And then new dress for the Lord with new jewelry and everything. And then there's Abhishek. And after Abhishek, there is a Chappan Bhog or more. And after that, there is Maharati. And after that, devotees honor prasadam. So devotees actually become so busy in celebrating the festival that they forget to honor prasad, they forget to eat. And that's how the fasting concept comes. It is not a forceful thing, but it is actually signifies the heart of the devotees, the busyness of the devotees in serving their lordships on the festival days and making all the special arrangement for their darshan and for their decorations and for their abhishek and offering bhoga. And they remain so busy until the time the festivities are going on, that after the festival is over in the afternoon and the Lord takes rest, and that is the time when the devotees take prasadam after putting the Lord to rest. So that's how there is fasting till noon, and tomorrow all of us will be fasting till noon and then taking prasadam later. So this is the significance of Adhivas, and in today's brief session, we will try to see the rarity of this occasion actually, what we are celebrating today or tomorrow, and then also a little bit about the, the position and the glories of Srimati Radharani, and then how Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so special and connected to Srimati Radharani, and then a part of Prabhupada's teachings or Prabhupada's lectures on Sri Radhashtami, and after that our own special prayer to Srimati Radharani. So this is how the flow of the discussion will be for today. So knowing the rarity of some event actually help us to take the event very seriously, take the opportunity very seriously. And, we know if you want to buy something costly, then we have to save a lot of money to buy a big house or a big car or a diamond necklace. And if we work hard, we work for a long time to, collect that money and then spend that money for buying that thing. And we know the hardships which have been involved in getting it, then automatically, as a result, we take the opportunity very, very seriously. So similarly, although Radhashtami may look like one of the days, it may be a working day for many of you, and we may not have a full day holiday. You might have to work from home or go to office perhaps. But yet, knowing the rarity of this event will give us some idea of how glorious this day is. So the material world in which we live, this material world is a very small portion of the entire creation which is there in the universe. 3/4 of the creation is spiritual, that is called Tripada Vibhuti, and 1/4 of the creation is what is known as the material creation of the material universes. This is explained like a cloud comes in the sky. The cloud does not cover up the whole sky. It just covers up a portion of the sky, small portion of the sky. And under that cloud, the sun gets hidden. That means the people who are below the cloud now cannot see the sun, although the sun is there shining in the sky and illuminating the entire sky. But, the people who come under that cloud, they are unable to see the sun. And then sun is the cause of the cloud, and sun causes all other phenomena. But sun itself is not uh, personally visible to the people under the cloud. So this is the analogy being given by our acharyas, that Krishna is like that sun-like personality who is the supreme cause of all creation. And then in the spiritual realm, in the Brahma Jyoti, a cloud of Mahat Tattva appears. And within that cloud, the clusters of material universes are created. And that is why from the material universes, knowing Krishna directly, knowing Krishna personally does not become possible. The material universes are there, and within each universe, Lord Brahmaji comes and then create the 14 planetary systems. And then within the 14 planetary system, the living entities are offered different kinds of bodies as per their will, as per their desire to enjoy and per their understanding, and to suffer as per the absolute understanding of the Vedic literature. So then the living entities are there, and they keep on roaming from one planet to another, and one body to another body, one species to another species, and the cycle continues. And the cycle continues till the time, a devotee enters the life of a conditioned living entity. Till then, the living entity thinks that being in material world, having a material body, having material desire is a very glorious position. Only when a devotee enters the life of a conditioned living entity, he gives them the knowledge, the information, and the revelation that being in the material world and going ahead in the cycle of birth and death is not the goal of life, but to break it open and return back to the spiritual world, returning back to Krishna, our original family. That is the goal of life. So that is why Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavana Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata. It's very, very rare. Very, very rare. In entire Brahmanda, very rare that somebody gets the seed of Bhakti. Not so. And other than Bhakti, there are many other means which can, change the position of living entity temporarily. Like the living entity is there uh, as human being, it can do karma kanda, it can cultivate knowledge, jnana kanda, it can follow the path of yoga, and it can get elevated to certain ways. It can go to Brahma Loka, it can go to Swarga Loka, it can go to impersonal Brahma Jyoti. But all these are destinations which are not the constitutional position of the living entity. The constitutional position of the living entity is Divya Saruphoy Krishna Nityata, to be an eternal loving servant of Krishna and reciprocate love with Krishna in five primary rasas. That is the original position. So although the material universes are created, the Vedic literature are created, and some kind of facilities offered to the living entity to elevate themselves, but this facility to return back to Vrindavan and have a personal relationship with Krishna in Vrindavan, that is offered only once in a day of Lord Brahma. And one day of Lord Brahma from our calculation goes to 311 trillion 40 billion years. In this in this period, 311 trillion and 40 billion years, there's only a short period of around 10,000 years. What is 10,000 years? Our calculation will make it look like big, but compared to 311 trillion and 40 billion years, 10,000 years is not even 0.001%. So in such a day of Brahma, and the equal amount is in night. So basically it is 622 trillion and 80 billion years. In that period, we get a period of 10,000 years when Krishna opens that window, and when the living entities of this world, they have the opportunity to get back into their constitutional position and go back to Krishna Loka, which is not available in remaining. I mean, I don't know how much the remaining will be. Out of 622 trillion and 80 billion years, if you subtract 10,000 years, it will remain the same time because it's so insignificant. It's not even 0.001%. And can we imagine that we are right now, we may be in Kanaya Desh, or we may be in India, and we may have lockdown or whatever, but right now we are in that 10,000 period out of 622 billion, trillion and 80 billion years, when we have, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and our Gurudev, we have that opportunity to revive our relationship with original, the avatari, the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna, and return back to Him. So this is a rare good fortune what we have. This fortune is not available at other times, even the greatest personalities. Lord Brahma, we know from Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma takes Krishna to be an ordinary child. He tries to test him. And in testing Krishna, he becomes bewildered. And after that, he offers very beautiful prayers which are actually narrated in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter. And Brahmaji says, as far as I am concerned, you know, let others say whatever they say. As far as I am concerned, with my 4 heads, 4 brains, and the entire body made up of intelligence, with my intelligence, I cannot really figure out what is Krishna's greatness, what is Krishna's sweetness. I cannot figure it out. Others may think whatever they may think. And then Brahmaji says that I am not fit to be in Vrindavan. I am not fit to be, a devotee associating with Krishna in Vrindavan mood. And I am not fit to be a grass or a creeper or a tree or a stone in Vrindavan. So he prays to Krishna that please, by your mercy, please let me become a stone, piece of rock at the periphery of Vrindavan, so that whenever the Vrindavan Vasis will come out of Vrindavan to go to Mathura or some place, at least at that time I will get the dust of their feet on my hand. This is Brahmaji's aspiration. And the same Brahma, by his tapasya, he did not try to become a Gopa or a Gopi. He prayed to become a mountain. And that, we know that Radharani's abode, Shriji Mandir, Mangad Mandir, Dangad, Dandihari, these are all there on 4 heads of Brahma. The 4 mountain peaks are there. Some of you have come to Varsana, you have seen. This is Brahmaji, becoming a mountain, becoming a hill for the entirety of the creation so that he can, bear the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and Gopal and Gopis on his head. This is Brahmaji's aspiration. And Lord Shiva wants to enter Vrindavan, want to see the pastimes of Krishna. There are many stories about it. But then he couldn't enter. So then he asked Purnamasi, and she said that he has Vrindadevi. And she said that you have to take bath in Manas Sarovar. And then he goes to Manas Sarovar, and then, Lord Shiva, who is the father of all the living entities in the material world, because in the material world, Lord Shiva is considered father and Durga Mata is considered mother. And that Lord Shiva takes the form of Gopi, Gopishwar Mahadev. He's ready to change his form from male to female so that he can witness the Rasila pastime of the Lord, which Krishna does with the Gopis. This is Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is hankering. Lord Shiva is acting as the guard of the Dham. And he's present in Mathura as Bhuteshwar Mahadev, in Govardhana Chakreshwar Mahadev, and in Vrindavan is Gopeshwar Mahadev. Like that, he's present to guard the Dham of the Lord. But he takes the form of Gopi just to guard the Rasila. That is his aspiration. Right. Uddhava, who is such a dearmost friend of Krishna, is the best of the Yadus. Uddhava exactly looks like Krishna. He never eats anything, he never wears anything, he never smells anything which is not Krishna's Mahaprasad. That is Uddhava. Krishna says, you are more dear to me even than Rukmini or Balram. That is Krishna's verdict. That Uddhava, thinking that yes, I am so dear to Krishna and I know Krishna so much, and Krishna sends him to Vrindavan. And then Vrindavan Uddhava realizes that although he is a student of Brihaspati, he is the best of the ministers of Krishna in the assembly of Dwarka, and is so close to Krishna. Krishna sits with him, Krishna talks with him, Krishna plays dice with him, Krishna dines with him, Krishna discusses, administrative strategies with him, Krishna travels with him. All the clothes of Krishna are worn by him, all the garments are worn by him, all the oils are used by him. Still such a personality, when he comes to Vrindavan and see the love of the Brajavasis, especially the Gopis for Krishna, then he feels so humble. And he feels that actually I need to join the coaching class of the Gopis. So, he, I hope I'm visible well. I don't know what's happening at the screen. But, anyhow. So when he comes to Vrindavan, he feels that he's coming to pacify the Brajavasis and give them some jnana, some knowledge. But when he comes, he feels so humbled and he prays. Such a personality. Can you imagine? He is not tutored. He has not studied in any of the institutes of this world. Many times we want to go to Harvard, MIT, IIT, or whatever. Uddhava also learned. He's tutored by Brihaspati personally, who is the guru of the demigod. So that is the position of Uddhava, and is so close to Krishna. He's with Krishna all the time. And such a personality, when he sees the love of Vrindavan, love of Rajavasi, then he prays that let me become a creeper or a piece of grass on the Vrajabhumi, so that I can get the dust of the Gopis' feet on my hand. So this is the estimation of these great personalities. And Sukadeva Goswami narrating about the love of Rajavasis, especially the love of the Gopis, to all the sages, including Parikshit Maharaj in the assembly. So from the estimation of these personalities like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva and Uddhava and what to say of Mother Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi is still performing tapasya in Belavan, just desiring to not participate but just to witness the Raslila pastime of the Lord in Vrindavan. So when we have some understanding about the greatness of these personalities, and then we see their perspective, what is their perspective toward Vrindavan, what is their perspective toward the Brajavasis, what is their perspective toward the Gopis, that gives us some idea that how great the goal is, how supreme the relationship with Krishna is. And yet, we, the 21st century living beings, in this age of Kali Yuga, in the midst of the pandemics like Corona, we are given that opportunity what these great personalities don't have. This is the Mahavadanyata of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada and our Master. We are having that opportunity which these great personalities are not having. So knowing this reality, we should feel very greatly fortunate. And we should really put our heart and soul in following the process that's given by the previous acharyas, and then take the best advantage of this opportunity available and try our best to make our life successful in this very lifetime, because we just don't know what will happen in our next lifetime. Where will we be? What will we be? What will be the situation? It's just getting worse every day in terms of the material things. So this is the reality of understanding of Vrindavan and the devotees of Vrindavan. And among the devotees of Vrindavan, every single devotee of Vrindavan loves Krishna more than anything or anyone else in the entire creation. Even the cows, or even the grass, even the trees, everyone is a conscious being, and everyone loves Krishna more than anyone or anything else. So that is Vrindavan. There is no selfishness in Vrindavan. Even the animals love Krishna, the grass loves Krishna, the trees love Krishna, the cows love Krishna, the gopis love Krishna, the gopas love Krishna. Krishna is the center of life of everyone. He is the apple of the eyes of everyone. He is the heartbeat of everyone. He is there in the breath of everyone. That is the position of Krishna in Vrindavan. And they all love Krishna, and yet that love increases in different rasas. You know, cows and the trees, they love Krishna, they admire Krishna, they get reciprocation from Krishna. And in Vrindavan, Krishna reciprocates personally with each living entity, whether it is the trees, or whether they're the cows or the calves or the bulls or whatever else, or whether they're the gopas or motherly gopis or the gopis with whom we perform stuff. And then the love increases, the cows and the trees, they love Krishna to the best of their ability, and yet the love of the friends of Krishna is more than them. They're all full, but they're all full, and their fullness is more than the others' fullness. It's like good, better, best. It is not like, good or bad or like that. It's good, better, and best. And then the motherly gopi, like Mother Yashoda, they love Krishna so much, but the highest love for Krishna is found in the heart of the gopis. And this is very elaborately explained in Brad Bhagavatamritam by our acharyas, especially Srila Sanatana Goswami, who narrates the pastime of Narad Muni searching for the greatest devotee of Krishna. So some of you might have read it. He goes through a whole change, starting from a Brahmana who was worshipping the Shaligram Shila with great love and devotion, and then from there to the king who was offering everything in his kingdom to Krishna, and then going to Indra, who is performing the sacrifices, and Vamandev is coming and accepting the offerings, and then going to Lord Brahma, who is serving the personal deity of Mahavishnu in his planet, and then going to Lord Shiva, who is always chanting the holy name of the Lord, meditating on Lord Sankarshan, and then going to Prahlad Maharaj, then going to Hanumanji, then going to Pandavas, and then going to Yadavas, then going to Uddhava, and then Uddhava certifies with his realization what does he feel about the greatest devotee of Krishna. So there, it's a very elaborate thing, but we can read it to understand what gift we have been given, what opportunities we have been offered. So the gopis, they offer everything they have. They sacrifice everything they have. They have no other consideration for any other dharma. They are truly at the platform Sarva Dharman Paritya. And they offer whatever they have, their body, their mind, their words, their love, affection, everything for Krishna's pleasure. So in the course of presentation, I'll make you see the difference between love and lust. But gopis offer every single thing they have for pleasing Krishna. They have no expectation from Krishna, but they are ready to offer all the love of their heart to Krishna. And among all these gopis, Radharani personifies the highest degree of service attitude. So that is the position of Radharani, that she is the greatest devotee of Krishna. She wants to please Krishna the most. She has no other thought in her entire existence other than to please Krishna. That is how Acharya defines Srimati Radharani. She is the greatest Mahabhagavad devotee of the Lord. So at this point of time, I would like to, present a small PPT based on the verses from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, 4th chapter, where the internal reasons of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent are being described. And, we can read 10th canto to understand about Srimati Radha a little bit, but more so we can do by reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, 4th chapter of Adi Lila, 8th chapter of Madhya Lila, and 20th chapter of Antya Lila. There, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami describes in detail about Radharani's position and her service to Krishna. So let's see this PPT from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we are celebrating Radhashtami. Radharani, there is a Tattva Vichar, the philosophical understanding, and there is a Rasa Vichar. So in the Rasa Vichar first, as we will see in Prabhupada's words in the later part of the presentation, that actually, devotees consider even Radharani higher than Krishna. They approach Krishna through Srimati Radharani. And Radharani is Madan Mohan Mohini. She even attracts Krishna. And she's the attractor of Krishna, who is Madan Mohan, who attracts the whole world. So in this way, Krishna even submits to Radharani. Radharani becomes displeased, Krishna tries to please him. From the Tattva Drishti, Radharani is non-different from Krishna, as we see here. Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadhari Anyo Anye Veda Serasa Aswadana Kari. Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed two bodies, thus they enjoy each other, tasting the mallows of love. Because for enjoyment, there has to be two. One person cannot enjoy. So here, Prabhupada talks a lot about that Krishna cannot enjoy with any mundane girl. He says that even those who are worshipping Krishna, they become brahmacharis and sannyasis. And he gives the example of Gautam Buddha also, that in the pursuit of absolute truth, in the pursuit of higher reality, all the people of this world, they give up the mundane pleasures of this world. Then how can Krishna, who is the object of their reach, object of their either study or meditation, how can he enjoy with an ordinary girl? So Radharani is not different from him. Radharani is Krishna in a female form. They are not different. He's energy and the energetic, as he says here further. Radha Purna Shakti Krishna Purna Shakti Mana Dvaivastu Bhedanahi Shastrera Pramana. Sri Radha is the full power and Lord Krishna is the possessor of full power. The two are not different as evidenced by revealed scripture. Mragamada Taraganda Yeshe Avicheda Agni Jwalate Yache Kabunahi Veda. They are indeed one and the same. Just as musk and scent cannot be separated, fire and heat cannot be separated, they are not different. Similarly, Radha and Krishna are one, yet they have taken these two forms to enjoy the mallows of pastime, to reciprocate with each other. Krishna expands into Radharani, the energy and the energetic, and they exchange love between them. And all love what we are trying to develop is a fraction of that love which exists between Radha and Krishna. She is the pleasure potency of Sri Krishna. Radhika hai na Krishnera pranaya vikara swarupa sakti ladani namayahara. Srimati Radhika is the transformation of Krishna's love. She is this internal energy called Hladini. That energy, that potency, that personality which gives pleasure to Krishna is called Hladini potency, Radharani. Prabhupada explains, Radharani is the internal potency of Sri Krishna. She eternally intensifies the pleasure of Sri Krishna. The very name Radha suggests that she is eternally the topmost mistress of the comforts of Sri Krishna. As such, she is the medium transmitting the living entity's service to Krishna. All the service which we render actually goes to Krishna through Radharani. And our spiritual master is a very confidential associate of Srimati Radharani. So we sing in the Mangalarti every day, Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhe, yayali bhedi tirapekshani. Tatradi dakshat ativallabhasya, vande guroshi charanarjuna. So he's very dear to Srimati Radharani. And actually for us, serving Radharani, pleasing Radharani means to give pleasure to our spiritual master by following his instruction and fulfilling his orders. So the devotees in Vrindavan therefore seek the mercy of Srimati Radharani in order to be recognized as loving servitors of Sri Krishna. Srimati Radharani has two functions. She pleases Krishna and she nourishes the devotees. Alladini Karai Krishna Ananda Swadana. So she gives pleasure to Krishna, Krishna Ananda Swadan. Whatever way Krishna can feel pleasure, she makes all the arrangement. Actually, Krishna says that the gopis are my teachers, they are my servants, they are my disciples, they are my master, they are all in all for me. Krishna says in Adi Purana to Arjuna. So Alladini Karai Krishna Ananda Aswada. For Krishna, she gives pleasure by serving him. And Alladinara Dwara Kare Bhaktera Poshana. So that same potency for living entities, for all of us, it nourishes us. It's us in Krishna service. She engages herself in Krishna service and pleases Krishna, and she inspires us to engage in Krishna service. So she nourishes the devotee. Alladini energy gives Krishna pleasure and nourishes his devotee. And Prabhupada explains, when the pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is exhibited by His grace in the person of a devotee, that manifestation is called love of God. So what is love of God? When Radharani's mercy, Radharani's grace comes upon us, that manifestation is love of God. Love of God is an epithet for the pleasure potency of the Lord. Therefore, devotion service is reciprocated between the Lord and His devotees. That means Lord and all of us who are practicing devotees and exhibition of the transcendental pleasure potency of the Lord. So, Sri Radha Thakurani is the embodiment of Mahabhav. So, essence of Alladini potency is love of God. Essence of love of God is emotion or bhav, and the ultimate development of emotion is Mahabhav. So, many of these things may be new to us or maybe not be fully understandable to us, but we are simply trying to repeat the words of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami on this auspicious day of Radhashtami just to understand and appreciate the highest position of Srimati Radharani and our connection with her. That is the purpose behind that. Mahabhava Sarupa Sri Radha Thakurani Sarva Guna Khani Krishna Kanta Shiromani. She is the embodiment of Mahabhav. She is the repository of all good qualities and the crest jewel among all the lovely concerts of Lord Krishna. She is also the only source of enjoyment for Krishna, as it says there. Krishna Prema Bhavitayanda Chitendriya Kaya Krishna Nija Sakti Radha Krida Rasahaya. Srimati Radharani, her mind, senses, body are steeped in love for Krishna. She is Krishna's own energy and she helps him in his past. She is fully spiritual as Krishna. No one should consider her to be material. She is definitely not like the conditioned souls of material bodies, gross and subtle. She is all spiritual and both her body and her mind are of the same spiritual embodiment. Her senses are spiritual. She is the personified Ladini Sakti and therefore she is the only source of enjoyment of Sri Krishna. Because Sri Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. So the only source for pleasure for him can also be his own part. It cannot be pleased by any material means. So that is why the only source of enjoyment of Krishna is Srimati Radharani. She is also the cause of all the consorts, just like Krishna is Sarva Karana Karana. Krishna is Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Krishna says Aham Adarihi Devana. I am the source of all the devas. I am the source of everything. I am the cause of everything. Similarly, as Krishna expanded into multiple various Vishnu forms and different other avatars, Nana Avatar, Rama, the Murtishu Kala, Niyamena, and that Krishna expanded into many other avatars. Simultaneously, parallelly, Srimati Radharani also, as the internal potency, expand into the consorts of those avatars. For example, for Lord Ram, she expand as Mother Sita. For Lord Narayan, she expand as Mother Lakshmi. So like that, whenever Lord expands, then Srimati Radharani personally expand, and her expansion becomes the consorts of Lord in those different. Krishna Kanta Gana Dekhi Trivida Prakara Eka Lakshmi Gana Pure Mahishi Ganara Vajangana Rupara Kanta Gana Sara Shri Radhika Haite Kanta Ganera Vistara. So Krishna has three kind of concepts: the goddess of fortune Lakshmis, the queens of Dwarka, and the gopis, who are the foremost of all. And these all concepts they proceed from Srimati Radharani. Just as Krishna is the cause of all incarnations, so Sri Radha is the cause of all these concepts. Gopis are also expansions of Srimati Radharani. Gopis are not conditioned souls. We are different than gopis. Gopis are personal expansions of Srimati Radharani, and they assist Radharani in her service to Krishna. So here it as it says, Lakshmi Gana Tandava Vara Vilasana Rupa Maheshi Gana Vaibhava Prakasha Swarupa Akara Swabhava Bhede Vraja Devi Gana Kaya Vihatanda Rasera Karana. So all the gopis, they expand from Srimati Radharani, all the Lakshmis expand from Radharani, just like all the Vishnu forms expand from Sri Krishna. Srila Prabhupada explains here. As already explained, Krishna and Radha are one and two. They are identical. They are just like we take them as male and female. They are identical, but they are there in two forms to reciprocate love with each other. Krishna expands himself in multiple forms, and such expansions of Srimati Radharani are all a plenary portion. All these womanly forms of Krishna are expansions corresponding to his plenary expansion of Vishnu forms. So this is all what we discuss. The female reflection of Krishna's pleasure potency are as good as Krishna himself. So these are few prayers which are there from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very simple, very easy to remember. You may not unmute yourself, but you can try to recite with us together. Govinda Nandini Radha Govinda Mohini Govinda Sarvasva Sarva Kanta Shiromani. Very simple. Govinda is there in all three lines. Govinda Nandini Radha Govinda Mohini Govinda Sarvasva Sarva Kanta Shiromani. Govinda Nandini Radha. Govinda, Radha is the one who gives pleasure to Govinda. Govinda Anandini Radha. Govinda Mohini. She is also the enchantress of Govinda. She attracts Govinda. Govinda Sarvasya. She is the be all and end all of Govinda. And Sarva Kanta Shomani. She is the crest jewel of all his consorts. Very simple prayer. And if you know it, it's well and good. If not, then we can just memorize this prayer for pleasing Radharani tomorrow. This is another prayer offered from one of the Puranas by Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami. It's explained also well, but we will not go into details. Devi Krishna Mai Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva Kanta Sammohini Para. So the transcendental goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of Lord Shri Krishna. Devi Krishna Mai Prokta, she is the central figure for all the goddesses of fortune. Sarva Lakshmi Mai. She possesses all the attractiveness to attract the all attractive Sarva Kanti Sammohini Para. To attract the all attractive personality of Godhead, she is the primeval internal potency of the Lord. So this is also a very simple prayer. We of course know that Saptakanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan, but we may recite or memorize these two prayers also. These are very simple. Radharani is very merciful. So she appears in midday, Krishna appears in midnight, you have to fast at night, 12 hours more. Radharani is fasting. And the prayers also very simple. Devi Krishna Mai Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva Kanti Sammohini Para. So you memorize, these are all there in Adi Leela, chapter number 4 of Chaitanya Charitamrita. On a folio and all, we can also look at. So she is also the universal mother. She is not just sometimes people just feel, oh, she is Krishna's girlfriend or things like that. Actually, she is the universal mother. All other mothers like Lakshmi or all other mothers, they originate from Srimati Radharani. Ataiva Sarva Pujya Parama Devata Sarva Palika Sarva Jagatera Mata. Therefore, Radha is Param Devata, the supreme goddess, and she is worshipable for everyone. She is the protectress for all, and she is the mother of the entire universe. So this is also a beautiful prayer. Ataiva Sarva Pujya Parama Devata Sarva Palika Sarva Jagatera Mata. Because many times people feel, oh, she looks like a young girl, and sometimes people feel disturbed or whatever. But actually, if you look like mother, then she's all attractive, and then in that mood one can worship. So next, to make us understand the position of the gopis and Srimati Radharani and how Krishna get enchanted by Srimati Radharani, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami gives a detailed understanding of difference between lust and love. Because oftentimes, somebody in Shastra, the example is given that if somebody is a patient and is always drinking cow urine as medicine, then for him to understand the taste of milk is very difficult. Because cow urine, if some of us have drunk during some therapy or just go for keeping healthy, I mean, it's different. Milk is, but both come from cow, but it is not that the milk is like cow urine. The cow urine can never give us an understanding of what is the milk of cow. So similarly, based on our experience of, lust in this world, one cannot possibly fully fathom what is love for Krishna in this spiritual world. It is just, lust of this world is a perverted reflection of love of Krishna. But yet it is so different, and oftentimes we try to impose our mental concoctions and ideas upon the Supreme Person Godhead, and He's dealing with the devotee. So that's why people do Dandiya or Ras Leela or this or that, but this Leela is not to be imitated. If one has to imitate this Leela, first one has to imitate the Leela of Lord Shiva drinking halahal. And if one survives, then one can try this. That is the example given by Sukadeva Goswami. That Krishna does Ras Leela with his devotees purely spiritual. It is done with Krishna and gopis in their spiritual form. There is no material contamination in that. But when people try to imitate at a gross level, material level, not understanding the truth behind it, then they actually become ineligible to go to hell. So that's why Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami spent good amount of time and many slokas to highlight the difference between lust and love. Kama preva dohankara vivinna lakshana loha rahima yeche swarupe vilakshana. Lust and love have different characteristics, just like iron and gold have different natures. Atmendriya priti vancha tare boli kama, Vishnendriya priti chardhare prema nama. The desire to enjoy one's own senses is kama. Desire to please the senses of Lord Krishna is prema. कामेरा तात्पर्य निज संभोग केवल कृष्ण सुख तात्पर्य मात्र प्रेम प्रबल. Object of lust is only the enjoyment of one's own senses. How will I be happy? What will please me? What will make me comfortable? That is lust. But love caters to the enjoyment of Lord Krishna, and thus it is very powerful. Ataiva kama prema bahuta antara kama andatama prema nirmala bhaskara. It's very different. It may look similar. It may look like attraction between boy and girl. It's totally different. Bahuta antara. Therefore, lust and love are quite different. Kama andatama. Lust is like dense darkness. Prema nirmala bhaskara. Love is like the bright sun. Ataiva gopi ganera nahi kama gandha. In the gopis, there is not even slightest taint of lust, not even gandha. What to say atomic particle? Gandha, not even the smell. Krishna sukha lagi matra Krishna se sambandha. Only for giving pleasure to Krishna, they have a relationship with Krishna. So this has to be very deeply understood that gopis' relation with Krishna is only to please Krishna. They have not even one fragment, even one iota of feeling that, Krishna should please them or Krishna should do something for them. All the pastime have this basic understanding. But sometimes when we hear the pastime directly, we hear, oh, gopis and Krishna are fighting and gopis are trying to win and Radharani is becoming angry. All that the gopis do, all their thoughts, all their words, all their action, they're only with one intention to give pleasure to Krishna. This is explained in the last chapter of the Essentials, Untitled Chapter, 20th chapter, in the purport to the verse, Ashtrishyava Padra Sampanasthana. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami explains that verse. What is the mood of the gopis? Atma sukha dukhe gopira nahi ka vichara Krishna sukha hena chesta mano vyavahara. The gopis do not care for their own pleasure or pains. All their physical and mental activities are directed toward offering enjoyment to Lord Krishna. So we should know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give us this affection, this mood of the gopis' love for Krishna, and this mood of gopis' service attitude to Krishna. And that is why, we also in our service to the Lord should keep aside our pleasure and pains. We are not worshipping Krishna, we are not practicing Krishna to gain anything from Krishna. Krishna may give us anything what we want, or Krishna may take away everything what we have. But our service to Krishna is only for one purpose, for Krishna's pleasure. And this principle is highlighted in our entire parampara. The principle of sacrificing everything for Krishna's pleasure, not asking anything in return, ready to sacrifice everything, is a very, very core principle. It's a unique, USP, unique selling point, unique identity for our sampradaya. We can see so many examples. Madhavendra Puri, Bahu Parishrame Chandana Ramuna Laila, Ananda Badila Mana, Dukkhana Gadila. With great effort, with great endeavor at a ripe and old age, he tried to bring that Chandan to Ramuna. And Ananda Badila, he was so happy. He was not saying, I am an old man, I can't do that. Ananda Badila Mana Dukkhana Gadila. How many sufferings came in between? That he did not count at all. We find Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Person Godhead, but yet to set an example for the sake of, preaching Krishna consciousness to others, which is the mood of Srimati Radharani. Because what gives greatest pleasure to Krishna is that the, conditioned living entities come back to him. They turn toward him. So that is the greatest mood of Srimati Radharani, to share love for Krishna with everyone else. So we'll see in a little while how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does that. But the main point is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself takes sannyas just for the purpose of distributing that Krishna prem, distributing Krishna consciousness to others, without considering any comfort for himself. And down the line, we see the 6 Goswami. They had everything. They had everything for which the people of this world are aspiring for. They have much more. They have. The people of this world can never. I mean, in one of the lectures, my spiritual master says that, if we compare the wealth of Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, then the wealthiest person of this world at this point of time will not be qualified to even become their servant. Because in today's day and age, the money is all fictitious. It's all there into account. It's all there in shares. Any moment it can be gone. But they were having real gold, and their bathing guards were having, pearls and jewels embedded on the stairs. So that was their wealth. They were not just kept in the treasury, but there on the staircase of the bathing guards. So they gave it up all. They gave it up all for what? For just serving Radha and Krishna. Gopi Bhav Rasamrita Pilahari Kallola Mama. So this is the unique identity that we are ready to give up anything what may come on the way to serve Krishna, to please Krishna. And we will go through anything, whatever may come in our life. We will go through any experience that Krishna will like us to go through. But we will never complain and we will never demand. This is the mood. When Srivas Thakur Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, and Srivas Thakur's son died. Dying of his son is not an ordinary thing. It's not a simple thing. It's not just one of the, just one of the little pains or accident or minor things. It's a major thing. And Srivas Thakur went inside and he says that, you all don't cry. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing, there's no loss. Our son has died. And if you cry and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dance get disturbed, then I'll commit suicide. This is Srivas Thakur. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's each parshad, each devotee, we can see this spirit of ready to sacrifice everything for the service of Lord Chaitanya or Lord Krishna without demanding anything in return. And this is the mood which has been transmitted to us through the medium of service to Srila Prabhupada. The same mood which the gopis have to serve Krishna is reflected in our following the instructions of our spiritual master. And Srila Prabhupada just set such a high-class example. For serving his spiritual master, what all suffering he did not go through. Financial problems, the health problems, the family problems, so many failures in one way. So much struggle to print books, to distribute books, to travel to the Western world, and then going to West was not easy, and then in West it was not easy, and so many challenges. But the same mood which the gopis have towards serving Krishna is reflected in disciple service to the spiritual master in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, and that is why when we say that gopis can sacrifice everything for Krishna's pleasure, that means the disciple should be ready to sacrifice everything for the pleasure and service of the spiritual master. So this is Krishna trying to understand Srimati Radharani. How? In order to understand Radharani, he accepts the position of Radharani. Because Krishna wants to understand the potency of Radharani. I am full, I am complete in every respect, but still I want to understand Radharani. So Krishna could not understand. This is Radharani's position. So what can we understand of Radhashtami? Krishna is the knower of everything. Bahuni me vyatitani vartamani cha Arjuna. Bhavishyani cha bhutani. Everything I understand, past, present, and future about everyone I know, but he can't understand Radharani's love. How can Radharani be more pleased in serving him than he is in receiving that service? That is the surprise thing of Krishna. So this propensity made Krishna obliged to accept the propensity of Radharani to understand Krishna. And when Krishna wanted to understand himself, he took the tendency of Srimati Radharani, and that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna in the mood of Radharani, demonstrating the mood of Radharani, demonstrating the feelings of Radharani. The process of devotion process taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his disciples succession is how to feel separation from Krishna. And that is why, for us, the mood of Srimati Radharani means the verses of Sikshastakam. Because in the verses of Sikshastakam, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is personally revealing his inner feelings. And they go right from Shraddha to Prem. So previously I had planned this seminar to be, Sikshastakam, but while in the course of preparation, I realized just to make the beginning of the setting, it takes so much time. But I request that on Radhashtami day, if you get time, you can read from Chaitanya Charitamrita Leela, 20th chapter is there. And there, Chaitanya himself recites all the verses of Sikshastakam and gives purport. He explains the purport to Srila Sarup Damodara Goswami, and he exhibits the feelings with which Sikshastakam should be recited. And Sikshastakam, the 8 verses, they encapsulate the entirety of the feelings and mood of Srimati Radharani towards Krishna. So that is very wonderful. And Krishna appears as Lord Gauranga to taste the position and mood of Srimati Radharani. Sai gopi gana madhya uttama radhika rupe gune saubhagye prema sarvadhika. Sai radhara bhavalaya chaitanya avatara yuga dharma nama prema kaila prachara. Lord Chaitanya appeared with the sentiment of Sri Radharani. He preached the dharma of this earth, the chanting of the holy name and pure love of God.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did two things. He relished the love for Krishna through the chanting of the holy name, and he distributed the love for Krishna by Sankirtan process. And same is our goal. Our Janma Sarthak Kare, Kare Paropar. The same mission is given to us. We make our life perfect by chanting the holy name, and we help others in coming closer to Krishna by distributing the holy name. So this is the main verse which is quoted from Sri Damodar's diary, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachi Devi. Tad bhavadaya samgi sachi garva sindhu, as the moon appeared from the ocean. And these are Srila Prabhupada's few quotes from Sri Radhashtami. Prabhupada says, Radharani is not an ordinary woman like we have a wife sister. No, she is a pleasure potency, and the birth of Radharani was not from the womb of any human being. So there are many different stories which I hope you will hear tomorrow. So I did not include them. Very exciting, multiple stories. Sometimes she appears from a lotus flower in the Yamuna where Vaswanu Maharaj finds her. Sometimes, as Prabhupada mentioning, while her father was flowing, he saw one little nice child laying there, and he had no children, so he caught it and presented to the queen. Oh, here we have got a very nice child. Just here, Radharani's Janma is like that. And Prabhupada further says, so the lesson is we should not treat Radharani as ordinary girl or Krishna as ordinary man. They are the supreme absolute truth. But in the absolute truth, there is pleasure potency, and that is exhibited in the dealing of Radha and Krishna. And we pray to Radharani because she is the pleasure potency of Krishna. Krishna is all attractive, but Radharani is so great that she attracts Krishna. So that is why it's very confidentially Srila Prabhupada taught us the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Where he says, when we say Hare, that refers to Srimati Radharani. And we pray that, oh dear mother, oh Srimati Radharani, please, when she asks, what do you want? Then she says, please engage me in service of your Krishna. Prabhupada will say further. And she's the attractor of Krishna. And he says, Tapta Kanchan, Rangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vishavana Sute Devi Paramani. Our business is Radharani. You are so dear to Krishna, you are the daughter of King Vrishmanu, we are so dear to Krishna, we offer our respectful obeisance unto you. And then he says, Radharani is Hari Priya, very dear to Krishna. So if we approach Krishna through Radharani, through the mercy of Radharani, then it becomes very easy. If Radharani recommends this devotee is very nice, and Krishna immediately accepts. However fool I may be, because it is recommended by Srimati Radharani. So Krishna accepts. Therefore, in Vrindavan, you'll find all the devotees, they are chanting more Radharani's name than Krishna's. Wherever you go, you'll find the devotee addressing Jai Radhe. You'll find still in Vrindavan, they are glorifying Radharani. They are more interested in worshipping Radharani because, however fallen I may be, if somewhere or other I can please Radharani, then it is very easy for me to understand Krishna. Otherwise, so this is the mood in Vrindavan, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. The mood of Vrindavan is to worship Radharani because we know that Krishna is approachable only through Radharani. Radharani is much more merciful. She is the compassionate nature of personification of the compassionate nature of Sri Krishna, the Alladini potency of Krishna. So devotees also take shelter of Srimati Radharani through prayers and through celebrations, and they try to assist her in her service to Krishna. And the greatest service is our spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada, and we assist them, and through them we are assisting Srimati Radharani in her service. So, and then Prabhupada says, just offer through Radharani. So anyone who comes before Radharani to serve Krishna, oh, she becomes so pleased. Oh, here's the devotee of Krishna. She immediately recommends, Krishna, oh, here's the devotee, better than me. This is Radharani. I may be not a devotee, I may be a fallen rascal, but if I try to reach Radha, Krishna through Radharani, then my business is successful. Therefore, we should worship Radharani first. That is our business. Instead of offering directly one flower to Krishna, you just put it in the hands of Radharani. My mother Radharani, Jagan Mata, if you kindly take this flower and offer it to Krishna, oh, Radharani says, you have brought the flower? Krishna said, Patram Pushpam Phalam Tuyam. But don't try to offer Krishna directly, offer through Radharani. So, our acharyas tell the story of Radharani's mercy and compassion. A place near Radhakund, there is Shivakhor. So there, one day, Radharani was there at Radhakund with her Sakhis, and she heard the loud crying of the jackal. It was a she jackal. And some children were kind of chasing her, and then the jackal went inside a hole, And the children, they saw that inside the hole, they put, collected some leaves and branches and put fire at the mouth of the hole. And the she jackal was crying piteously. And then when Radharani heard that call, then she called Lalita Sakhi and she told that you go and find who is crying. And she goes and she drives away the children, naughty kids. And then she removes the fire and then she gets a she jackal and she jackal comes. And Radharani, seeing her piteous crying, just puts her lotus feet on this jackal's head, she jackal's head, and immediately the she jackal turns into a mid-servant, a gopi, for the pleasure of Srimati Radharani. So this is a narration by Acharyas to demonstrate that actually we are all unfortunate like the she jackal. We are all troubled by the various agents of Maya in the form of threefold miseries and birth, old age, disease, and death, and we are chased away, and we are like put into fire. Fire of these threefold miseries and so many problems. We don't have to talk much about it. We are already knowing that. And if we cry out, the only qualification we have is to cry out piteously, crying out in the mood of a beggar, not inattentively, but crying out really seriously in the mood of begging. And then what happened? Radharani sends Lalita Sakhi. Same Lalita Sakhi comes as Swarup Damodar. And the same Swarup Damodar have his assistant as Manjaris like Rupa Manjari, Lavanga Manjari, Ananga Manjari. They are Rup Sanatan, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So they come and they come. How do they help us? They save us through their literature. They have written act of devotion, act of instruction. That is their help. And in this way, they reach out to us and they take us off from this material world and offer us back to Srimati Radharani. In this way, we receive the mercy of Srimati Radharani. And now, in summary, all our prayer to Srimati Radharani today is AIS. This is sort of all I seek, all we can seek. It's just the summary of everything, summarized together is AIS only. AIS means attention in sadhana. The major problem, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's in Harinam Chintamani and many other chanting, we will find that the major problem in our sadhana is that we are distracted. We are oftentimes not more focused or not more attentive to what we are doing. And inattention is a kind of disrespect. When we are inattentive, when we are disrespectful, then we possibly cannot get the mercy. We are not dealing with machines. We are not dealing with a computer. No matter how we press the buttons, things will happen. We are dealing with people. The holy name is a living person. The deities are living persons. The Srimad Bhagavatam is a living book. And this is Krishna's forms in different living forms. These are not dead matter, although they may appear like dead matter. Just like deity appears like marble or brass. Holy name appears like words, or Srimad Bhagavatam appears like a book. But actually, these are living personalities. And in the matter of dealing with living personalities, if we are inattentive, then we are not going to make a good relationship. And we all have the experience. We all are living in families. If we are inattentive to our children or to our family members, wife or husband, then it is not considered good. The relationship doesn't become deeper. It is considered offensive. So that is the major offense, is inattention. Inattention is called the mother of all offenses. So inattention in our sadhana means inattention in our japa, inattention in our reading, inattention in our hearing process. Like nowadays we hear on Zoom, and sometimes now because camera is off, so I am looking at myself or looking at the screen. But behind the screen, what all is happening, we don't know. But inattention is a great obstacle. That is a distraction. And we have to be attentive in sadhana, and if we try to be attentive, we'll find our mind will pose so many obstacles. Our mind will really create havoc. I'm trying, before I'm speaking to all of you, I'm trying to do this, try to follow this principle, and I find it so difficult. I'm realizing how Arjuna is saying mind is so difficult to control. You try to be attentive, that time you realize how inattentive we have been. At least the minimum is we should not be doing an alternative thing with our gross senses. We should not be like kind of looking at a mobile or reading something else or talking to someone while they're chanting or doing things. Because distraction of mind is very subtle. Mind may have another thought which is difficult for us to control. But at least the action and the words, these are two in our control. While we are doing some spiritual activity, we should not be doing some other activity, or we should not be speaking another thing. That is at least in our conscious control. Thoughts will be third level control, which will be later. But action and words are in order. Because if inattention is there, then we cannot advance. Inattention in sadhana, cannot make us advance. So at least the 16 rounds which we have committed to our spiritual master and our daily quota of reading and hearing, some portion should be done with exclusive attention. Later on, we may read more while traveling, You may hear more while going here and there. That's all right. But there should be some portion which should be reserved with exclusive attention. That is one of our prayers that we pray for. Yeah, yes. All I seek is attention in sadhana. The second aspect is affection in sambandha, affection in dealings. Even if we are attentive in sadhana, we are not doing something else. But if we do not deal with devotees properly, you know, then our sadhana is not going to produce a result. And this is Radharani's her own example. Prabhupada is saying Radharani, anybody prays to Radharani, Radharani says, he's better than me. Radharani is glorified by all the Vedas and all the Puranas and all the great personalities to the best devotee. But what is in it her that makes her the best devotee? What makes her the best devotee is that she considers everyone else to be better than her. So this is the mission of a Gaudiya Vaishnava. Gaudiya Vaishnava, Vaishnavism or the Gaudiya Vaishnava understanding and philosophy, the feeling of I am better than others is considered to be a serious disease. Just like sometimes, if our hand gets cut, that may look more painful and difficult to deal with as compared to cancer. Because cancer in the earlier stages doesn't cause any pain or suffering. But actually, ultimately, cancer turns out to be a life-threatening thing as compared to some other minor accident or some difficulty. So similarly, this feeling of I am better than others and I deserve something, I deserve respect, I deserve to be treated well, and I have a right to disrespect others. These feelings are really like cancer. Actually, they may look simple, they may look like easygoing, but actually they turn out cancerous. They totally, spoil our spiritual effort, spiritual endeavors. So affection in dealing means that Prabhupada wrote, "You are ever well-wisher," and at every letter he signed like that. Similarly, we being Prabhupada and the followers of Prabhupada, we have to become a well-wisher for everyone. For those who are treating us well and for those who may not treat us well, for those who may praise us and for those who may not praise us, for those who may agree with our ideas and plans and for those who may not agree with them, we have to be respectful and affectionate towards everyone. Affection in Sambandha is very, very vital. And my spiritual master says that sometime in the family life, because most of their family members, he says that husband and wife, they're Vaishnava and Vaishnavis. Just because they are our husbands or wives, that doesn't mean that they are not Vaishnavas or Vaishnavis. And any offense toward them applies equally as it applies to any other Vaishnava or Vaishnavi. So affection in Sambandha is very, very important. And we should try to look for good qualities in others and try to be appreciative and encouraging rather than finding fault and criticizing. This is what we can pray. This is something very important but very tough, very, very tough thing. And the third thing which we can aspire for is anticipation in Seva. Actually, Seva is a gift of Srimati Radharani. Any service we have for Krishna, either it's giving a lecture, hearing a lecture, cooking for bhoga for them, or making some garland for them, or organizing for them, or distributing books for them, or any given service, every single service, it's not a matter of small or big. It's the consciousness in which we do that defines whether it will be big or small. But any service which we get to do is actually a personal gift of Srimati Radharani coming through the entire parampara of acharyas and through our spiritual masters and our ISKCON authorities. So one should be very anticipative about it. One should be very excited and thrilled that, okay, I've got this service and I'll put my best to do that. One should meditate on that. One should make plans for that. And one should be eager for that. One should be very excited for that service. So if we have attention in sadhana, we have affection in sambandha, we have anticipation in seva, then actually we will be blessed to experience the supreme mercy of Srimati Radharani. So this is a brief prayer we can meditate on and we can offer. So I thank all of you very much for giving me this chance to reflect a bit on this. And I also pray very blissful Radhashtami for you. And although this is a pandemic time, but through this internet thing now, all the time, somewhere or other, some lectures going on, some katha is going on, and all the world speakers are there right in front of our screen. We can just log into anything or go to YouTube and just hear that. But it's a blessing in one sense. But we should reflect. We should reflect on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's coming because he is manifesting the mood of Srimati Radharani. How? By chanting Hare Krishna, by distributing the chanting of Hare Krishna. And we should meditate on Sikshastakam. We can hear lecture or read some books on Sikshastakam. And we can pray for these three things that we discussed. And in this way, we can celebrate Radhashtami in a very wonderful, peaceful way. So, oh my God, I already exceeded the time by 5 minutes because the PPT I couldn't see the watch by laptop. So I am concluding here. If there's some one or two comments or any remarks or any reflection or any question, then we'll take one or two and then we will.
Thank you very much, Raji,
Stop.
for such a wonderful enlightening class. So everybody, you took all of us to Chaitanya Charitamrita with different verses. Thank you very much. Hope everybody is immense in mood of celebrating Radharani's appearance day tomorrow. So anybody is having any questions, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, yesterday I read.
Switch on video. Yeah.
Yesterday I read in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, I heard that Radharani had to marry cowherd Abhimanyu because of curse given to her by his brother Sridhama. So how many Leela is there, Prabhu? In how many? Can you give in a brief Leela about that one?
There is certainly a Leela while being in this world. Radharani gets married to Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is none other than shadow of Krishna.
Oh, okay.
And he's also a devotee of Krishna. So it's not that he's any. In Vrindavan, nobody is existing who does not love Krishna. So these are pastimes, and one may wonder how this cursing and counter cursing happens in Golok Vrindavan. We thought it happens only in this world. I'm not very.
So just to understand that one, Prabhu.
I'm not very kind of realized personality in the Leela aspect. I am more contemplative on the Tattva aspect. So I suggest you can ask this to our Vishwarup Prabhu. Or Vishwarup Prabhu, if you know, he's a very senior doctor in Bhaktivedanta Hospital. And he's one of the great authorities that lived in Barsana for many years, and every year he goes in Barsana. He's giving a series of lectures for Pune devotees. He can be asked. I will not, I do not have full knowledge, and I will not like to further comment because I really don't have the capacity to explain everything well in that regard.
Okay,
but whatever in Vrindavan, nothing happens which is not pleasing to Krishna. That much we can surely say. How it pleases Krishna, it may look a little difficult for us to understand at this point of time. But everyone and everything he does, every breath he takes and every heartbeat, it happens in the heart of every Vrajavasi. It's only for the pleasure of Krishna. That much we can surely know from the teaching of Krishna. How it is, sometimes it may, because we are trying to relate it with our experience in this world. When we say cursing, when we say counter cursing, when we say this, it may turn out little different how it is like this. But this principle we can note. In Vrindavan, no one and nothing exists which is not pleasing to Krishna. That principle is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Also, you can ask this question with Anandashesh Prabhu. He will be doing this Radha Devi Leela part also. Anybody else?
Any other comment, reflection? I think we are done now.
Hare Krishna.
Anuttam Gopal Prabhu, Hare Bol.
All are here.
Hare Krishna. Hare for a wonderful lecture.
I try to serve all of you. I also get to reflect because of all of your mercy. Otherwise, I would have been doing
Everybody
something else.
can switch on your videos, so at least Prabhuji can see everybody's face.
So amazing to see all of you. Very happy, very grateful for your kind association, and wish you a very blissful Radhashtami celebration tomorrow. And you can log into, and this is also right in the chat window. This ISKCON.in. If you just type this, you will be connected to the YouTube channel of Pune, and also Zoom also we have, in case some of you are more happy with Zoom. Zoom also.
Hare Krishna, Manibhushan Prabhu. Do we have 1 minute time for one question?
Yes, Prabhuji. You can go ahead with the
Ah.
question if you have.
Hi. Hare Krishna, Revatipati Prabhu, and Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful lecture on Adhivas Day of Radhashtami. Prabhuji, it's not a philosophical question. It's a simple doubt that the Mansarovar mentioned in the Shiva Leela is the Kailas Mansarovar or any Sarovar named with the same name in Vrindavan area? Any idea?
Same name in Vrindavan, not the one in Kailash. The Mansarovar in
Yes,
Vrindavan area.
yes,
That is a place of
another Sarovar. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
another Kailash.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, regarding Sadananda Sam Prabhu's question about Radharani's marriage with Abhinabhi, it is heard that Abhimanyu is none other than Krishna. It is just a Leela of Krishna. That is what is heard before.
Abhimanyu is the shadow of Krishna.
Yes.
That is Leela. So sometimes
Yes,
you want to get
yes.
into details why that happened.
Yes, Prabhu.
But Leela is more for the heart, Krishna is for the head. But somehow you want to combine it.
Achindya, Prabhu. Achindya, that is, he only knows about Krishna's Leelas. Yes,
So,
Prabhu.
thank
Thank
you
you.
all very, very much. I'm very grateful for the kind association and to give me an opportunity to be with all of you. And have a nice celebration. And then tomorrow, Anand Seshpur's Katha is a very wonderful speaker. I know him personally and I have heard from him several times. And but somehow it has got to reduce to one class, as Manibhushan was telling. But he will do a great justice to the topic also, and you can ask all the technical as well as Leela question. He's very well prepared on that. Yes. Okay, Manibhushan Krishna Prabhu, so I'll take a leave now.
One minute,
And,
1 minute, Prabhuji. Anuttama Gopal Prabhu, can you do the vote of thanks for today's session?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Prabhu, and Hare Krishna to all our devotees. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for this enlightening class and setting the mood for tomorrow's Radhashtami celebrations. So, thank you very much, Prabhu, especially the last slide, AIS, that really struck me. So, I'll try my best to stick to what you taught today. Thank you very much, Prabhu, once again. So let's express our gratitude by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Padavapascha kripa sindhu patitanam
पावनेभ्यो विष्णुभ्यो नमः
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Gaudiya
Gaudiya
Vaishnava
Vaishnava
की
Vrinda
जय
ki jai.
श्रीला प्रभुपाद
Prabhupada
की
ki
जय
jai.
please
श्री
carry this,
रेवतीपति प्रभु की जय
Jai.
हरे कृष्ण
please carry this point. All I seek is AIS because you are already at home, so you don't have to even carry it at home. You have to keep it at home. All I seek is attention in sadhana and affection in some and anticipation in seva, and our life will be perfect. And this formula has come from Namaruchi and Vaishnava Seva and Jiva. There is a philosophical foundation for these 3 prayers. Namaruchi comes through sadhana, and Vaishnava Seva is Sambandha, and Jiva there is Seva. So that's why these 3 prayers are very bona fide, and we can pray to Srimati Radharani for blessings. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
जय
Hare Krishna.